The U.S. Capitol building is where the United States Congress meets. It is one of the most architecturally impressive as well as symbolic buildings in existence today. Construction started in 1793, and since then, the building has been burned down, rebuilt, extended, and restored. Much like the Washington Monument and the White House, it stands as a symbol for the American people and the government. The dome that stands today was built around the 1850s. It is a double dome within a large oculus within the inner dome. The cast iron dome weighs nearly 9 million pounds. The Senate wing was completed in 1800, and the House of Representatives wing was finished in 1811. Outside the U.S. Capitol is the Summer House, which was built around 1880. It is a place to rest for visitors and contains a water fountain in its center. If you visit the Capitol at the right time, you can see congressmen and congresswomen coming out of the Capitol building after a congressional session. Inside the Capitol Visitors Center is a grand entrance hall. Here, there is a plaster cast model of the Statue of Freedom. This is a replica of the one that stands at the top of the Capitol's dome. Under the rotunda is an area called the Crypt. Originally designed to look down on the final resting place of George Washington, it is used for other purposes after Washington stipulated in his will that he wanted to be buried at Mount Vernon. 13 statues of the National Statuary Hall collection are located here. This includes one of Samuel Adams from Massachusetts. He was one of the leaders of the Boston Tea Party in 1772. The crypt also features a replica of the Magna Carta, the English document made in 1215 whose principles underlie much of the U.S. Constitution. This star represents the 4 quadrants in which the city of Washington, D.C. is divided into. Within the actual rotunda, famous artwork created under the design of famed artist Constantino Brumidi can be viewed here. This includes the famous frieze of American history, which depicts significant events that have occurred since the country's inception, and the painting Apotheosis of Washington, which is underneath the dome. The painting was completed in 11 months by Brumidi, who was suspended 180 feet in the air. It shows George Washington surrounded by 13 maidens in an inner ring with Greek and Roman gods and goddesses below him in a second ring. The frieze is located inside the base of the dome and shows a chronological history of historical U.S. events, starting with Christopher Columbus. The Apotheosis of Washington was completed in 1865. War, science, marine, commerce, mechanics, and agriculture are represented in the painting. The relief sculpture of William Penn's treaty with the Indians in 1682 is located above the rotunda's north door. John Trumbull's 1824 painting, George Washington Resigning His Commission, is one of 8 large paintings within the rotunda. A bronze statue of Andrew Jackson stands stoically in the Rotunda Hall, where it has since 1928. The hallway leading to the office of Speaker of the House John Boehner can be seen before going into the National Statuary Hall. The hall is a large 2-story semicircular room south of the rotunda. This is also where the House of Representatives met for 50 years before moving into their current chamber in 1857. Marquis de Lafayette was the first foreign citizen to address Congress here in 1824. James Madison, James Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, and Millard Fillmore were all inaugurated here as Presidents of the United States. The Liberty and the Eagle statue stands above the south wall in the hall, above where the Speaker's rostrum once stood. Currently, the hall contains 38 statues, representing each of the 50 states. A statue of Ronald Reagan, donated by California in 2009, contains a strand of the Berlin Wall. The U.S. Capitol stands today as a symbol of freedom, liberty, and the American way of life.
Some applause breaking out on the House floor. That is not for passage. Again, they need a simple majority to pass the debt ceiling bill. It is possibly something to do with Gabrielle Giffords. We don't know, but her office just tweeted out the message that Gabrielle has returned to Washington to support a bipartisan bill to prevent economic crisis. Turn on C-SPAN now. That from Gabrielle Giffords' office.
The nays are 161. The bill is passed, and without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
This Congress, and we're so honored and proud to have all of you here with us. And I'm sure this may not be my place, but we all want to welcome back our wonderful colleague, Congresswoman Giffords, here. And with that, I give back.
Chairman.
Her presence today to make sure that we honor the obligations of our great country is important and symbolic. Her presence here in the chamber, as well as her service throughout her entire service in Congress, brings honor to this chamber. We are all privileged to call her colleague, some of us very privileged to call her friend. Throughout America, there isn't a name that stirs more love, more admiration, more respect, more wishing for our daughters to be like her than the name of Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Thank you, Gabby, for joining us.